even stronger start.
Yep. Alright, countdown begins. Alright, so off to game 2.
Whoa, did I actually make it this time? I might have. Oh, I did.
Oh, damn.
Alright, we can actually commentate in real time this time. A lot more carbon on this map, I'm noticing immediately. Asoup has found decent access to that. He also found a good plot of iron that he's decided to go ahead and throw down on. Interestingly enough, choosing scientific. I'm not sure I would have done the same in his position, but I guess I can understand it. What do you think about that?
Cubit play scientific. I have never seen him play scientific. I do not know what to expect right now off of Cubit. This is pretty much a reverse of game 1.
Yep.
Like, asoup, you know, going for scavenger with, you know, just actually more carbon than the last game, so it might work out. But still, like, Cubit right now, like, for... the feeling I have, right, is scientific needs to work with, you know, big water, you know, chunks on the map.
Yeah, and the water is a fair distance away from him at this moment, and there's only, I guess, a couple good plots. Both of them much, much closer to asoup right now.
So I believe right now,
our growth is surpassing my most optimistic projections.
Would, you know, still be a big part of this game. Like asoup, if you would, you know, get the pirates, you know, save him up when Cubit, you know, has his reactors or farms, you know, on the water pods, you know, tiles. You know, that would, you know, definitely be a big advantage in the early game and late game.
Yeah, both players, interestingly, seem to be focusing far more on securing upgrade resources than potentially securing high-value tiles on this map, like the couple of high waters that we've spotted. Asoup does take the silicon tile, which I think I agree with. There's not a whole lot of silicon available, but I think there was actually a better one he could have taken, but it's not too big a deal.
No, actually there's quite a bit. Like,
yeah.
This
okay,
right
I
now,
see. Down in this,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Down in the southeast corner. I think you're right.
There's actually quite a bit. So actually, I don't know. I feel this is like a waste of tile. But what he likes to do is actually save up silicon to actually then just, you know, blast out 2 or 3 solar panels. So you know, it's basically what he does if the power price rises again.
Right. And it could help to get him into that transition, so hopefully that'll turn out okay. Whereas Cubit has just decided, man, steel sounds great, aluminum sounds great, he's already got the glass purchased up that he's going to need to upgrade. So he's probably just looking to get to level 3 and manage to secure some of those all-important water tiles as a scientific player.
What I just want to say is, right next to Cubit, I like this, you know, small triangle of silicon. But asoup, probably reading my mind, said, nope. I want to take, you know, I want to take that 2 stack of silicon in that triangle.
Would have potentially rather seen him take that in the first place. Now he's got 2 silicon tiles, and that is a very heavy committal at this stage of the game, I think.
I'd completely think, you know, I did not see that. That was a failure. You know, before he gets his glass up, you know, let me take that. Because, like, that, you know, close to Cubit's base, that right there is, you know, it has definitely an advantage, for sure. Because, you know, the more tiles your blimp flies over, the more fuel you actually, you know, use.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Right now, actually, asoup with that power surge on the steel. Really
yeah, reaction to the steel shortage for sure. Trying to be able to keep Cubit's potential advantage from the steel shortage down. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. The primary thing it does is give Cubit options, right? He can choose to upgrade, or he can choose to sell things off, maybe get some black market purchasing done, maybe go for an early stock buy if the opportunity presents itself. But we'll just have to see what happens from this.
And asoup actually must be really sad-faced GG. Do you mean this, you know, means something, or could he even come back and actually into this game at all?
I think he's just upset. He may agree that these silicon tiles were a bit of a mistake, having to take both of them in order to cut off this solid potential glass production Cubit had. Things of that nature. He's already falling behind a scientific player in expanding, when realistically, scientific has some of the hardest time expanding of almost any colony in the game. After the expansive nerf, that's not as true, but for a long time, that was just simply the case. So you almost never want to fall behind a scientific player who will also be using his tiles very, very efficiently because he doesn't need to collect so many resources.
So basically, Cubit right now... Oh my god. Just give me a second.
You're fine. Alright guys, so we're seeing a little bit of glass production come down from asoup. He also just has one single solar panel down, which I think is a good call. He certainly doesn't need that much carbon at this stage of the game. Whereas Cubit, he secured just a couple of reactors, a couple of glass furnaces coming down over here. He's not going to be getting great efficiency bonuses off of either of these, but they're both still very high-value resources that he'll be able to use much more efficiently than his scavenger opponent. Nanotech actually going out for 28,000. I don't know if it's worth that much at this stage of the game. Not in a 1v1. In a multiplayer game, maybe Nanotech could pull that off. But in a 1v1, the game lasts for such a short period of time, you're not going to be making as many resource transitions. So I really have to question committing that much debt, especially now that he's already up to 64,000 before we've even hit day 2.
Yep, no, basically, that's... Wow, you just summed it up so well, we just actually need to wait for more action. That was...
Okay.
That was really good.
That's fine. We also do have some wind turbines coming down from Cubit, which may help out asoup a little bit by having that carbon purchasing going on, but the price is still just so low because he committed 3 tiles to it so early that I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever be able to make money off carbon again this game without a nice short coming through.
Yeah, basically, I don't know, scavengers sometimes, you know, just overcommit so hard on carbon. It's like, they're like, okay, I have the same thing as steel. I'm going to make, you know, with expansive or, you know, whatever, I'm going to make a little bit of steel, sell it off, upgrade, and then it's like, with scavenger, it's like, okay, I have, you know, twice as much, you know, carbon that I would normally have steel, let's sell it off. Oh wait, the crash, you know, is, you know, breaking down, you know, it's like...
Another interesting thing we're seeing, Cubit, it looks like, I believe these are going to be solar panels when they pop up. Yes, 2 solar panels going down on top of his aluminum tiles, making sure that asoup is going to have a hard time attacking all of his power, and he won't have full dominance over that market. asoup, on the other hand, I have to question these plays kind of being based around power when he's never going to be making money off of it because he accumulates so much debt in these auctions. Man, both players going after each other quite hard there.
Yeah,
Dynamite
right
on
now,
the Cubit
actually
solar
buying
panel.
out asoup. So I don't know. Cubit right now can do this. I don't know quite how much money and resources he has, but you know, pretty much actually using all his money to buying 50% of asoup right now. I don't know. I think this is a good move because he knows asoup that, you know, he doesn't have any money right now because like he doesn't have any no aluminum income at all. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, asoup, look, he's got the aluminum tiles, he's got the carbon tiles, they're not even working at this point. And he has a couple glass furnaces and then a silicon tile. None of these end up making him too terribly large amounts of money. The glass furnaces, probably actually losing money at this point, right? Silicon and oxygen, way too expensive. The silicon tile is okay, but it doesn't have a friend. Perhaps because of the mistakes earlier, you're not getting adjacency bonuses. It's just not going to be very good. And with his carbon frozen out and asoup having no stockpile of it, he's going to have difficulty getting extra production online so he can actually start making some money here.
But the thing is right now with Cubit is that he could upgrade, you know, get on the same level as asoup, and, you know, just use more claims to actually just snowball ahead, which he's actually doing right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
What he
think that's a good
decides to do.
choice because you know, see a lot of people in multiplayer or whatever when it's like a 1 versus 1 that, you know, actually goes out early and they just don't upgrade and actually, you know, snowball ahead.
Yeah, I do agree that this is probably a good decision. Cubit has the stock advantage, he has the debt advantage, he has the resources advantage, he has the tile advantage, just from value of what tiles have actually been claimed, in my opinion. And so he's just going to upgrade and keep rolling on with that, rather than potentially pushing too early, too far, and giving asoup a window to come back from.
Right now, actually,
there we go.
Oh wow, they're
60% of the way there.
Yep. Right now, actually, asoup, I don't know. I sometimes don't agree with him because right now he has 3 solar panels, and he's actually getting a geothermal. Like he just claimed one.
Really
So,
interesting.
Actually, going full on to power plays.
He might have the time to make that work. I'm not sure. Cubit, I really think, okay, there is a hacker array coming up for Cubit. That's how he's going to try and end this game. He does have 2 claims left. Would probably be a good idea to make use of those, given that he went ahead and committed all those resources to the upgrade. there's definitely some good tiles he could make use of. These glass furnaces could even be converted into quarries. He could get a couple other quarries down, things of that nature. But the hacker array will hopefully be enough for him to finish off the game, and I think that's what he's going to rely on.
Yeah. Actually, four solar panels, and a geothermal building. Like, I think...
He doesn't even have to. It's just so small. Debt got too out of control for asoup, is what it came down to, right?
So
when you only need 30,000.
Yeah, actually, basically, like a complete mirror matchup, but just, cubit, actually, I believe actually having the better spot and, just playing it out correct, because right now, Scavenger seems like in a 1v1, seems to be worthless and expansive and scientific are up ahead.
Can make things happen. I mean, I've seen it work. I've seen Scavenger really be made to work, and obviously Cubit did it the first time, right? Like he managed to make Scavenger work. He struggled with it a bit, quite a bit more than in this game, but it turned out okay. But you have to play it very, very specifically and really understand where your advantage lies with that black market. Interestingly enough, asoup, because of when he was being forced to buy and sell carbon, ended up purchasing more carbon than he sold that game. And that's definitely a problem you never want to encounter. Also, with 2 silicon tiles, we have the same situation. He purchased more silicon than he sold. And each of those resources, he had 2 or 3 tiles committed to, so he just basically wasn't making money on them, is what it came down to. Just made small amounts with like the steel shortage, small amount off of aluminum, small amount off of an electronic shortage, and a small amount on glass. And compare that to Cubit, and he was making much larger amounts of money. Obviously, the steel shortage, far more beneficial to him long term, but making more on his glass, trying to use the electronic short, which didn't really work out for him all that well, given how much he ended up purchasing. But just selling a little bit more fuel, a little more oxygen, a little more aluminum, and letting asoup kill himself with those auctions that came up.
Yeah, basically, what I think some players have the problem with is like auction, like buying stuff, because players are like, all right, this is worth about this and this much, and they're like gonna say, all right, this is actually really important, so let's actually like bid one time over that, and then it's like already at 20,000, and then they just like get this debt all at once, and basically start the death spiral. A lot of players can get out of it, but like if you do it again, which happened this game. You can't stop it at all. And also, there was no patent lab played, so...
Well, patent lab is much harder to make use of, in my opinion, in 1v1. You have to have a very, very, very specific purpose for it. And even then, you've committed quite a lot of glass, which can occasionally get pretty expensive, and a fair amount of steel as well. Basically, every resource you spend in 1v1 just has so much more of an impact. It can be very difficult to make use of one of the special buildings unless you know exactly what you're going to do with it.
Yep. So
also, if Soren's out there, I would love to see on these pages somewhere, because I don't think it exists, how much money got spent on auctions.
Ooh, that would
I would
be
love
nice.
to see that somewhere.
Like,
just
in,
be
like
able
in
to
the
be
resources, something like that.
Exactly, just something somewhere. Maybe it can fit in with. I don't even know. Maybe resources is the best place to put it.
More on the bottom.
Maybe, yeah, just as a basic, or even in one of these columns, just have something there that's like money spent on auctions at some point,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And it's just, I don't know exactly, but I would love to see something like that, just because I think that actually played a huge, huge role in how that game went.
Yep. So that was game 2, and
that was game 2.
Cubit
2 out of the best of 3.
Cubit pretty much is moving on to the round of 8. So that's also going to be interesting. Who's also going to be in the round of 8? Probably Zap, but he actually hasn't been playing a lot, and not a lot 1v1. So he's actually saying he will go out really early on.
Yeah, and we'll see. I played against Sir Rogers a fair amount yesterday, and I started winning at first, and then he started winning, and I think we ended up fairly even across the board, but there were some very, very, very difficult games, even the ones that I came out on top. So Sir Rogers is looking pretty scary in the 1v1 situation.